Okay, David.
Yes, thank you, Lord. Witness 26, Jacqueline Cahill, please. Now, over the years in teaching, no doubt a great many pupils will pass through your hands or before your eyes. Were you able to remember any details about Margaret Fleming?
Yes.
Was she there because of literacy or behavioural difficulties?
Literacy difficulties. She struggled to put pen to paper, she struggled to write at length. She probably read around about the level of an 8-year-old. We're in Marwick Avenue at the moment, and this is where the high school, the old high school, was just round here. So somewhere around here, presumably, Margaret would have lived. Teachers, we do remember our children. We do remember, I'm going to say the Scottish, we do remember the Waynes we taught. The police visited me, August 2017 I think it was, and asked me a number of questions about letters that were alleged to have been written by Margaret. When I first heard about it, I was a bit surprised that it was actually, my Margaret Fleming.
I think it's probably best if I do read it a bit to set the context. Here I am, and writing to you, and hoping you are not awful annoyed to me and can forgive me for causing troubles and also worries. I was always still injuring and damaging to myself, and was even making Eddie love me not as much, and making Avril cry and be sad. I know that I was really, really bad and wicked, and I would not be allowed to stay in our house. We'll not go on to the next page yet. Let's look at some of the things that are wrong with it. There's a lot of spelling errors, would that be correct?
There's a lot of rather strange spelling errors because a number of very difficult words are actually spelt correctly.
Would you want to give us examples of that?
Otter.
Please?
We've got causing, which is a word that youngsters with literacy difficulties would struggle with. Margaret's ability level would perhaps be 100 words, and even that would be with a certain amount of support. She was not a particularly fanciful girl. She would have written straight facts. It's not a letter that Margaret would be capable of writing.
Mrs. Cahill, there will be further questions for you, I'm sure, but thank you very much indeed for your assistance.
Thank you.
Mr. Ross.
When you were asked by the police to look at the letters, it wasn't a comparison between actual work which Margaret did, it was based on your recollection of what Margaret might have done, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And it wouldn't be possible 21 years after the event for you to know how Margaret spelled a particular word if she was asked to spell it. Would that be fair?
No. I'm going to disagree with you and say that I do remember Margaret's literacy, I do remember Margaret's written work, and I do know the kind of errors that Margaret would have made. So no, I have every confidence in saying that my opinion of those letters is based on knowledge.
Well, nobody's doubting your level of confidence, but what I'm asking you is this: do you accept that in general terms it's possible for somebody's reading and writing skills to improve through education and training?
Of course.
Okay.
Mr. David.
There are not just one but two possibilities here, aren't there? First of all, that she is individually the author of those typewritten letters herself, or else there is another person who is scribing those letters on her behalf.
They would have to be an extremely proficient typist. The evidence from the typos in it is that they clearly aren't a proficient typist. The third option is that Margaret had no involvement in the letters at all.
How do you know that the person whom she was asking to write the letter perhaps had not made a suggestion to her and she said, yes, say that?
That's speculation, I couldn't possibly comment on that.
But that's exactly what you've done. You are just guessing.
I'm not going to comment on that because I know what I think, and I know that those letters were not written by Margaret. I do not believe for a minute those letters were scribed, and I'm afraid I can't comment beyond that.
you very much.
Thank you. These two people lie and lie and lie, and then when they get into bother, lie a little bit more. The real focus of the case should be that a wee girl was let down by social services enormously. Somebody at some point should have been looking to find out, well, if she needs carers, how's that going? I do not believe for a minute that Margaret made it into adulthood. I believe that Margaret died aged around 19, as the prosecution case suggests.
The evidence of her English teacher was to show that Margaret was not capable of producing even basic letters. The suggestion the Crown will be putting forward is that those letters from London were